Well, hello friends, and welcome to another Ask Zach. Today, I just wanted to look at the Fender versus Vox sound. So here's a video where you can hear one guitar being played through classic examples of the Fender sound via a real 1965 Deluxe Reverb and the Vox sound via a 1964 AC10 that's in a, it's in a new cab that's got a 12-inch speaker. And so that way you kind of have a better comparison, 12 against 12. So yeah, so this is just, I'm going to switch back and forth. I'm going to use different pickups on the guitar. And yeah, I feel like, first off, let me give you the complete lowdown on each amp. So again, this is a 1965 Deluxe Reverb. I've had it for about 10 years. It is stock except for the bright cap has been clipped on here, which just gives it less kind of treble at low volumes. Also, the speaker has been swapped for a Celestion Vintage 30. That's 8 ohms, and it's, for those that care, it is the Mesa Boogie version of the Vintage 30. I just found that out recently by checking the numbers on the frame. So yeah, and I've got it set at 3, volume on 3, treble on 4, bass on 5, reverb on 2.5, and then of course no vibrato. Of course I'm plugged into the vibrato channel so I can get reverb. And this is a Vox, a 1964 Vox AC10 that, as I said, it's been recabbed because the original cab was gone. It has a single 12-inch Celestion Blue speaker. It has the I'm using the EF86 channel. Yeah, this is kind of the classic, and this one's kind of been hot rodded to where it's like an AC15. So the inputs aren't padded. So I don't want to get too far into the gobbledygook, but the AC10s originally they padded the input so that it'd have more difference in volume between the AC10 and the AC15. So this is basically an AC15, and of course you have the 1965 Deluxe Reverb. They both have a mix. I think this is all new old stock tubes, so it has all vintage tubes. This has a mix. It has new power tubes and then some new old stock tubes in there. And of course, this is my 1957 Esquire that's had a neck pickup added. It's a Ron Ellis tall neck. Using Diodario 10s and using like a Fender Medium type pick. Yeah, I guess that's what we need to know. So let's just dive in. I'm going to start on the neck pickup, and I'm just going to kind of look over at the amp so you know which one. So we're starting with the Fender. Alright, so that's a neck pickup. So think about what you're hearing and think about the treble, middle, and bass differences that you're hearing, and also maybe compression. Now again, this is YouTube, so there's a fair amount of compression on there, but yeah, think about all those things. So yeah, so that was the neck pickup. Let's go to the back pickup. We're starting on the Vox. All right, let's hear like some classic, like Fendery licks, and I'm going to play them in between the Fender and the Vox. Okay, so let's start with the Fender. let me say another kind of caveat. I'm not using a looper here, so some of you might accuse me of playing differently when I'm playing through each amp. And that's a valid accusation because the feel is different when you play through the two amps. But I don't have a sophisticated looper that I can keep feeding different things. And so I've gone for this methodology. And so I'm trying my best to play the same way. And these are both my amps. So I have no reason to make one sound worse or better than the other. My point in making this video is for you to hear, okay, this is kind of the classic Fender sound. Which, I mean, again, with Fender, with saying that, you could say which era of Fender, but we're going to say Blackface Deluxe Reverb, and then we're going to say, kind of I don't have an AC30, and this is more of a match with the Deluxe, so this is kind of the sounds. And part of my point is hearing the difference and also realizing that playing through them makes you change the way you play, okay? Because this amp has more low end, it makes you play different. Because this amp has less low end, more mids, and has more compressed highs, it makes you play differently. So, yeah, so that's kind of part of the equation also, is just letting you hear those things. Okay, here's some more kind of, back pickup stuff. You can hear more lows, and it's a little pillowy at times. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hearing. And though you have the compression, and you have this compression and stringiness coming from the Vox. So here's kind of... All right, so you've heard a lot of things, again, where I've tried my best to play the same way through both amps, and hopefully you're hearing the difference so that you can think about, this is the Vox sound versus the Fender sound. One sound is not better than the other. They both have strengths and weaknesses and things in which they, sound better doing. Like this thing that I played on the neck pickup, even though it sounds cool on the Vox, I think this sounds better on the Fender. Play it through the Vox, you get this. There's nothing wrong with that sound, but yeah, there's just things that maybe if I'm going to play R&B, if I'm going to play some, Cornell Dupree or stuff like that, I probably want to play through the Fender. But a lot of rock, a lot of stringy stuff, and a lot of country stuff. I mean, even like Roy Nichols, And that sounds pretty great through the Vox. And then here it is through the Fender. So, one other thing, as far as the signal chain, to make things as even as possible, well, here, I'll just tell you what I'm using. So I'm using an AB box, you know, just like a Morley type passive AB box. Then because of the ground loop issues, I have an old Axis Electronics buffer box that has an isolation transformer, and that's to prevent there being a whole lot of crazy noise. Also, that allows me to keep the amps in phase when at the end I play through both of them at the same time. So that's the signal. So the signal is AB box, buffer with isolation transformer into the Deluxe Reverb. The Vox is going into a Boss RV2, so a late 80s digital reverb set on the plate setting. And so what that does is it evens things out, because now both signals are buffered and both signals have reverb. So you're not hearing one overly dry. And of course, I'm trying not to use too much reverb. So I think we've kind of heard, you know, both of them on their own. So now I'm going to let you hear both of them together. Well, actually, I'll play one, the other, and then both together. So. All right, that was both amps. So at the end of the day, what you need is a Vox and a Fender, and you play through both of them at the same time, and you get you get a big sound. You get the pillowy lows of the Fender, and you get the compressed highs and the mid-range push of the Vox. That's actually quite a nice sound, and yeah. All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this comparison of Vox to Fender, and yeah. And I just want to thank everyone that supported me buying T-shirts, friends of Ask Zach, and yeah, putting money in the tip jar. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys. All right. Bye-bye.